You're listening to PDR Tool Talk, all about PDR stories, tools, and techniques.
For the thousands in attendance, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hey, what's happening, everybody? John Hiley here with the PDR Tool Time podcast. Chilling here with Daniel Grom and Vince D'Alessandro. Mike Toledo, he's Audi 5000 right now, but we're going to go ahead and hold down fort, man, and keep it going, all right? So anyhow, guys, how are you all doing today? What's up? What's happening?
Doing fantastic.
I'm so crazy busy. We got the best weather. I'm wearing shorts and a T-shirt. And this time of year for us in Northern California, it's usually raining and it's horrible. So I'm loving it. It's like spring.
It was 85 degrees down here today. Shorts and T-shirt.
You don't count,
man.
You don't count.
It was only like -3 here today. It actually got up to 27 though. And I got to say, when it's -3 and it hits 27, man, it's quite comfortable.
Yeah, I remember growing up in Chicago. Once a day like that happened, everyone was out on their Harleys driving around. It's like they thought it was summertime, you know?
That's exactly what happened, man. I was literally wearing a hoodie around and, just a basic pair of jeans. And, I mean, it's all what you're used to, guys. If you live in Florida, you get, it's 60 degrees, you're dying, right? You live in Ohio and it's 3 degrees. It hits 29, it's summertime again.
Absolutely.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah. So, Mike isn't with us because he's in transition right now. He bought.
Hey, I don't know if anyone wants to do that.
Well,
I think Mike wants to keep that on the low, guys. We got to let him tell you guys about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop, Vinny.
Okay.
You know what, though? This is going to make you guys intrigued because you guys are going to be like, what the heck are these guys talking about? So,
yeah.
Mike's busy. Mike's busy.
He's busy with a
So
project.
we're fresh. We're fresh back from MTE. We've got to use some of our tools, so we wanted to give you a kind of an early report of what we're liking right off the bat. What's our top pick favorites? What are we using the most right now in the tools that we got that were new at MTE? And one of the things I like to start off with is some glue pulling stuff. And we all got some of the root beer glue. I know Vince got a lot of root beer glue, but have you got a chance to try that out, John?
I have I have some, but no, I have not had a chance to try it out. I have not fixed a dent since the Mobile Tech Expo, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. So
you got to lose it. Come on, John.
Yeah, well, I do got a tailgate that I'm working on tomorrow that is hammered, man. And this is where I wish I had some anchors to the ground. It's one of them ones that I'm going to spend more time fighting it from flipping or something like that than anything.
Dude, you can get those at Harbor Freight, man. Just go to Harbor Freight. Cost you like $5.
Let me tell you a little something, man. I don't know what it is about my building, Daniel. If you can give me a tip here, please do, okay? Because I tried to drill into the concrete in the floor on my building, and I'm telling you, with concrete bits, all that stuff, the best of the best, it literally took me on the drill and hammer. I mean, I did everything I could. It took me like an hour to get one hole drilled into this concrete. I do not know what it's made of. It's some sort of it's an older building, man. And this concrete was like burning and snapping bits, man. I've never seen anything like it.
Wow. And it was a concrete bit.
Yeah, concrete bit. Yeah.
So you got a hammer drill.
Hammer drill.
Okay.
I mean, I got every tool, like the drill, like that. Got all that stuff imaginable. And
okay,
I'm telling you,
go to the Home Depot and rent one of the Hilti hammer drills.
Yeah, a Hilti.
That'll do it.
I need to do that because even my bench grinder, I got one thing holding one corner down, and my other one I got a screw in about 1/4 of an inch, and it's just keeping it from like moving too far,
Well, the older concrete it does get harder and harder over time.
Jesus, man,
100 years for concrete to come to full form.
That thing is 100 years old. That building, no joke.
Degenerating after 100 years.
Right.
But yeah.
Anson came out with this root beer glue, and they didn't really tell us much about it. And I started putting it on some big tabs, and I ended up calling up Craig, and I'm like, dude, this stuff is hooking up like mad. And I go, how is it designed? What's it designed for? And he goes, it's designed for big tabs. I'm like, really? Well, it definitely does that. You have to let it set up a little bit longer, when you're doing a big tab, because it takes a while for that glue to cool underneath that big tab. But if you do it right timing, man, I was pulling some monster dents with this stuff today.
When you say a big tab, you talking about like a giant gecko, or are you talking about like a
big
piece?
Yeah, the big Kiko or Kikos or whatever they are, and the big gangrene oval tabs.
Right. Okay.
That root beer glue is rated for moderate to hot, and just keep that in mind. I got a ton of it, to the point that whoever's buying mats right now or doodahs, you're getting a sample pack. And you're also getting a sample pack of tequila tabs that the ANSA came out with. They've released that this year at Mobile Tech Expo. The root beer glue and the tequila tabs. It's their new line. And those tequila tabs are just equally as great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
These things are great.
And you're saying actually tequila, like the shit that you drink.
You drink, yes.
Yep.
I like it, man. Using them names. Keeping it. Root beer and tequila, dude. I could mix that together and probably drink it.
Yeah.
Right. They're having fun with their stuff. They all their glue products, they always have fun names and stuff like that. So, but get yourself some of this stuff, man. This stuff is the real deal.
I'd agree with you 100%.
You know what they need to do when they inject mold it? They need to make a little worm in the middle.
Oh, that'd be great.
You're right. Like, that's my idea, guys. Do it. I'm telling you.
That'd be funny.
Are they clear? Can you kind of see through them?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're clear tabs. They're smooth.
Yeah.
They're just solid. They really pull hard.
Right
now
on.
they didn't have. They're pretty much in small sizes. They're not big size tabs or anything like that.
They're perfect for hail.
Quarters. Yeah, they're made for hail guys. Hail guys
now,
are gonna love
have
these.
you used that root beer glue on smaller tabs, Daniel? I mean, is it hooking up there too?
Yeah.
I used it with the tequila tabs, and it was freaking awesome. As soon as I was done, the first thing I did was called up Craig and go, dude, these tabs are freaking awesome. They're really good. They remind me a lot of the Black Plague, the Black Ice tabs.
Yeah, they're very similar.
How would you guys compare it to that teal glue that they had? Because that stuff was probably the best glue I ever used.
Yeah, I'm still using it.
Yeah, no, that stuff rocks.
Is there a difference though?
Stuff,
it's easier to get off. The dent tracks.
This stuff smells different, and if you look at like the part you peel off and you leave on the ground and stuff, if you come back later on and you grab it and you stretch it, it's got stretchiness to it.
Still got that elasticity, huh?
Yeah. And I think other ones get kind of brittle.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what that reminds me of, guys. Like back in the day, nobody can find this glue now, but tell me if you guys tried this before. Harbor Freight wood glue.
Never used it.
Yeah, you told us about that.
I went into Bryce Rockhill. You remember this, Bryce, if you listen. And like literally came in the store. He goes, dude, come here and look at this glue. Puts it on a 50-cent piece tab, puts it on a Cavalier he has working over there, hooks a mini lifter to it, puts the mini lifter on at full tilt, flips a softball-sized dent inside out, and holds it there. Cannot break it off the car.
Oh, jeez.
Could not. Has the mini lifter full tilt, smashing it on it. Cannot break it off the car. All the way to the point to where the mini lifter started putting dents in the.
What color was it? Was it like a milky brown?
It was a brown. It was a dark brown color.
Okay.
Yeah. But it had a longer setup time as well, so it didn't set up, but it was nothing like it, man.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's good. And is there any other glues that were out that you got, Daniel, or?
Not really.
We got some sample glue coming from North Carolina that we're not
From our source
yet, but that I haven't tried it yet. But we'll.
I did. Oh, yeah, I did try that. That's the one that I pulled that center out of that thing.
And it's coming from a big franchise company as well, a secret source inside of there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys something that does not rhyme with Schment Schmizzard.
Yeah.
It does not rhyme with Schment Schmizzard.
All right. Well, one of the tools I got immediately, I didn't even, in fact, I just walked in the door to register at the hotel, and Peter from VIP Knockdowns cornered me immediately and handed me his new knockdown tool. And I got to tell you, this version 2.0 is badass. It's
You guys know how I feel when you talk about that.
what?
You guys seen my review when I got it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. The Precious.
I got a little weird over it, man. I'm just going to be honest with you.
A little bit creepy, man. But
Go to PDR Tooltime Revolution. You'll see my review. Only 15 seconds, but it's very impactful.
Yeah.
And just them talking about it just makes me kind of like, it's like,
You're too funny, John.
I really
it is
don't.
awesome, though, guys. It is awesome.
Really hoping I don't lose it. And I don't, I've lost a couple of the original VIPs, but I don't think this one's going to be as losable, because it has an octagon head on it, so it's not
Yeah.
going to move away. It's got colors red, green, and blue. The grippiness of it, the cushion that he has on it's awesome. And he went with a higher strength stainless steel for the knockdown portion of it.
Oh, you
And-
can tell, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's all around. I don't know how much he's selling them for, but it's freaking awesome. And it has magnets in it too, so it sticks to the mat if you have a Magnatech mat, or on the car, or on your tray as well.
I think you sell them $7 or $8 a piece, doesn't he?
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Peter. I got to mess with the Polish guys, man. I have a lot of fun with them guys. They come out, they drink with me at my event, and they put everybody under the table with vodka one night.
oh yeah.
And the next night, none of them can even hang anymore. They're all drinking water. So we start chanting at them, America this, America that, Next thing you know, they're back in the game.
You're the dog. We did the same thing to him last year at Mango's. They're doing table service, and bottles of vodka. And
Of
it's like,
vodka, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good people, great people. Peter makes a badass tool, man.
it does.
If you guys don't have that VIP, man, especially the new one, like you said, Vince and Daniel, I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh yeah, love the thing.
It's
I love the first one. Love the second one. Love it. It's the best for sure.
Yeah.
Changed my work.
So, did you guys get a chance to walk around and stop at Stanliner?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
John,
I
did you
made random eye contact with it, and we both lit up with a smile, and we shook hands.
Yeah.
But did not get to see their tools.
Sure. Okay. Well, last year, if you remember, they had a small little booth that they were sharing with someone else, and everyone just kept on walking by them. And after the PDR college thing, I think some people were discouraged by the results of jumping on a roof and not finishing it and whatnot. But anyways, no one was there last year. I'll flat out say it. No one was there. And then this year, the past year, they've made leaps and bounds with, getting A1 on board to start making some of their tools. And then Kaz himself had made all the green and black handled ones himself and imported them. And that was one of the busiest booths I've seen.
Nice.
I wouldn't be surprised if they sold out of everything that was at that booth.
So I spent some time with him, and he showed me one of his techniques, and unfortunately he sold out all the tools, and I didn't get any of his tools. But when I got back here, I have it's a devil tip from Dent Gear, and I ended up putting on one of my motorcycle bendable tools and basically shaped it the same way he has his, and I started practicing the technique. And I was doing it today, and I was walking this den out with less effort, and I'm starting to get how he's doing some of the stuff. What I don't get is when he's in tighter areas and you don't have the movement, because most of the stuff that I saw that his techniques, you kind of have to have accessibility. You have to have some room. So what do you do when you're in a tight situation? I don't know how he does that, but he's definitely got me intrigued to learn more.
And really, to put it like quite frank, it's like if a crease gets put in the outside of the panel in one sweeping movement, steady without jumping, if you can figure out how to get the tool in there and recrease it with the same flow and the same movement that it came in, that's really ultimately what you're trying to do with a dent. If you can find a way to imagine this, a big old dent in the back of a tailgate, right? If you can find a way to exactly reverse that the way it went in, perfect, down to the T, you could roll that dent out exactly the same speed that it went in.
Yeah.
Impossible to do it that way, but you got to start thinking that way to unlock it smoother and quicker, right? And I talked to Bryce Kelly a little bit about that technique, and I understood it. You know what I mean? And I think Sal Contreras would be a good example of somebody who's been practicing similar techniques as well with that dent dial, you know, for a long time. Sal's been talking a lot about that, just kind of like, you know, riding it through, you know, putting the leather on there and stuff like that. Now let me ask you, Daniel, because everybody's been interested about this. I know they are. Were you using the back of the tool quite a bit, like the heel of the tool when you were doing this technique?
No, I was using what you're doing. Imagine like the back of a spoon on the end of a tool, and you're rocking it back and forth, but you're doing it with very little pressure. That it's contour to what we know and do every day, but you have to have the right access and the right leverage and everything.
Yeah.
I just don't get how he's been able to do this all the time.
So can I ask you, Daniel, that's something they're probably thinking. So the head of the tool is touching something to give you that sweeping leverage. So the head of the tool is touching, and then the back of it's spooning, where you actually, because I know it doesn't take much pressure at all. Like let's say you took a double bend and somehow you were able to flip it upside down inside a fender panel, and the top of the double band hooked to the top, but the middle of the tool would slide through with that sweeping motion. Would that be something similar to what we're talking about?
Well, that's more similar to the technique Bryce was teaching on the front fender.
Yeah,
Okay.
With the pirate hook.
With the pirate hook.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit different technique.
Because I've been using that technique for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, just the heel of the tool and then motions and stuff like that. But you're right, because you gotta have the perfect angle to pull that off.
I think a lot of it probably came out of because, you know, he's not a big guy, and he's got older, so he's probably feeling like I feel right now, where at the end of the day I feel beat up. And he figured out ways to not beat up his body. And
yeah.
You know what the ultimate way to not beat up your body, Daniel? Make enough money so you could friggin' retire soon here.
Fix tiny dents.
Right.
Just go after the tiny, man. If I could just line up tiny dents all day,
Oh yeah.
sign me up, man. Sign me up. Right? I ain't got nothing to prove anymore, man. My wrists don't have anything to prove.
But you know, like yesterday, my day, every dent I did was like a breeze. It was super easy.
Oh, I gotta love them days.
And and then today it was the opposite.
Sure.
Actually, it was that friggin' Volvo XC90 taking out a taillight.
And then
Friggin'
you couldn't even get to it, could you?
no, you could.
Oh,
I
could you?
But
That damn
taking
thing got me one time.
you have to take off the bumper cover, and I couldn't figure out how to get the bumper cover off. The way it's made really strange, and I couldn't find bolts or anything like that. I wish they had videos on that stuff.
Honestly, if I still own my XC90 today, dude, I would just take it out somewhere and have somebody blow it up and record it. You know what I mean? Like I would just put explosives in it and then just blow it up, because I would have more joy than the $4,000 that it's worth, or $5,000 that piece of shit's worth.
Yeah. Well, I had a V70. I love that thing, but someone sideswiped it.
Well, I got mine after Ford got a hold of them, and that's when they went downhill.
Yeah, that went bad.
Absolutely.
They're better now. They got nice big screens in them and stuff. Anyway,
so John, do you have anything that you noticed at MTE that you wanted to bring up?
You know, again, we talked about the knockdown there, and I want to say something that I didn't get one or anything like that, but I thought Stucky's lights were rather impressive.
Yes.
I haven't seen anything like that, and I always look out for things that are much, much different than your typical norm. And, you know, Stucky hit that on the head because he puts that little tiny battery into the back of the light. That little tiny battery lasts forever.
yeah,
And
kryptonite battery.
Yeah, the one thing that came across my mind more than anything was a safety concern, because I think there's a lot of guys I tell them that, like, dude, if you put your batteries in the back of your truck, put the battery caps on them or cover them or something. And there's a good percentage of people that do not understand that if your tool hits a battery and touches both of them, that thing will light your truck up like the 4th of July, man.
Yep.
It will catch everything on fire in your truck. It's happened to people before. So because it's a safety thing for me, it's a convenient thing because of the way the batteries are small and compact. You could carry like 10 of them. You could ship them overseas. There's a lot of crazy things that impress me about Carl Stuckey's lighting systems.
Yeah.
So I never got a chance to see James Lee's. I'd like to say something about his as well. But maybe you guys can clue in, but I never really got too far over to his booth. But Stuckey was right across from me, and that was very, very impressive.
Both of them were prototypes, and so they're not the finished product. The one thing that James Lee has at Unlimited is you're able to change the depth of the cover. It has 3 slots, so you can put that cover real close to the bulbs or further away depending on what kind of fade.
Nice.
So that gives you some options. So it really is appealing to pretty much anybody. But it made a much thicker, housing, and it didn't look as sleek and sexy as like Stuckey's or his old light. His old light, it was sexy when that thing first came out.
Right.
And but Stuckey's light just really does look like a sports car. It looks nice.
I cornered Stuckey when we were all packing up and leaving, and I grabbed his light and I went out to a car because I wanted to see what it looked like outside the fade.
Yeah.
And I've always been a huge fan of Carl's and his fade. He's an old Dent Wizard guy. I'm an old Dent Wizard guy. So he caters to what I see. And he knocked it out of the park again. I mean, the build factor, even though they were prototypes, it's solid, it's light, it fits your Carbon Tech Never Loose ball on the back. And I mean, it's awesome. And the way that he positioned the battery on the back, it's like the battery's not even there. You know what I mean? It's
it's like it's no weight. The one thing you will have to do though, because you have to put something on your cart,
Oh, sure.
But I see a better use to that, like in a way. Like what if if you manufactured like a stand that had maybe something for small hand tools or some way to put like something in there to weight it down, but it wasn't dead weight.
But it's one of those things because your light is on the opposite side of the car. So you're not going to walk around to grab a hand tool.
Well, not when you're glue pulling or when you're doing something to that nature. A lot of times you could work off of your light, or if you're working on side panels.
Yeah. And I'm sure, as clever as Dent guys are, they will come up with something clever to put.
Might be a good place to put your side panel tools.
There you go. Like a little lean-to, like the A-frame that comes off of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that we could think of, and I'm sure Carl will come up with something awesome. But if not, you could throw a sandbag on there, something like that. Because them lights, they get so light they'll tip over with the head like that. So,
sure.
But in any ways or means, just to keep them big old batteries and hauling them things around, and them things can leak too. Eventually, like you go out there and the bottom of it's leaked and burnt through your.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, half of us drive SUVs, other half, vans, stuff like that. Get it all over your stuff, you're in trouble.
Well, you're never supposed to put a battery down on the ground, and you're not supposed to put it on anything that has any conductivity to it. So whenever you're taking a battery, you should be putting it on a piece of wood or some type of rubber to insulate between the ground, the actual floor, and the battery itself.
Could your mat dub is that?
Yes, the Matt Can dub is that.
There he goes, selling his mat again. I'm just kidding. He was signaling me, say the mat, say the mat.
But I will tell you one thing that we discovered about the mat. It's rated to 500 degrees, dude. 500 degrees. So you could go ahead and put your heat gun on the mat. If you're soldering, you could stick a soldering iron, and that soldering iron will not go through the mat. So that's one thing that we found out from the manufacturer right before MTE that I started sharing with people at MTE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You should have held one up and let people try to poke it with one.
I know, yeah, right. I should have.
You did it as like a soldering iron shield. Be like, come on, man.
Well, I got an extra one now, and he keeps telling me to cut it up. So I'm gonna cut this one up and put it in. I got that Dentrix cart from Dentrix.
Yeah.
And I'm really liking that thing. It's super lightweight.
I thought you were going to send that to me.
No, I'm keeping that. I like it too much. I'm gonna send you the mini light.
Right.
Getting that.
I need another mini light.
I got too many of those. But the cart's really nice, and it's got a nice big square, and I'm gonna cut the mat so it fits right in there.
Did I ever tell you guys a story when I got the Dentrix light? I ended up hooking it up to the obviously the magnet that Todd sent me. So I got the Neverloose. I got the Dentrix light, the most beautiful light I've ever seen, on all honesty. I mean, the housing on that thing is beautiful. I mean, couldn't you agree, Daniel?
Yeah.
And they went off the hook with that thing, right? But like, here's the deal. I started moving it and it was falling over and I was like, oh no, my magnet doesn't work, right? So I'm like panicking. I'm calling people, realize that like that magnet, you have to just use it for like one day and play with it a little bit and move it around.
Break
And
it
next
in.
thing you know, it gets stuck so solid that you can't even, I mean, you can move it, but it takes some force to actually move it.
Yeah.
So, but I want to give everybody a shout out about that because I didn't know that. And when I first got it, I thought it was a failed product. But the truth of the matter is, it like from what Vince was saying, it needs to magnetize with the other thing. And after it gets on there and like those powers go through each other and both become magnet, it works really well. Very, very well. I can't even change anything else now at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, staying on that, Carbon Tech had a great booth going on. You know, they were selling the Neverloose. They had obviously his rods were awesome with all the new attachments. And he had Wiley tools there, you know, with the magnetic tips. And you know, Todd from Carbon Tech, he now makes the attachments that you could put your Wiley tips on it as well. So that's another option. I wanted to give a shout out to our man Todd over there for that as well, because everything he makes is freaking top notch.
I got to be honest, guys. I'm not using the magnet tips. I just don't see a use for it for myself. I think it's, I don't know. I just,
Really?
I'm not.
I use mine all the time, man. Love them.
Well,
I don't find myself using it. Yeah. But I think guys need to hear, you know, that we don't love everything, you know.
Sure.
I
think Hale guys are going to use it for their tools more. I haven't side loaded on it. I'm afraid to put that tool down a door and side load on it, mainly because if you're using a metal tip, it's magnetized that metal tip and it's going to stick to the skin of the car and potentially pull out. And then you're going to have to dig out a tip out of the door, which would suck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been only using mine on like roofs or hoods and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
you know?
It's not, you know, the perfect go-to for tips down a door, but I see some points for using it for hail damage, switching out tips on the fly, and also for knockdowns. And some people are going to find that convenient. Some people are just, you know, they're stuck with their knockdowns that they never change, and that's fine too.
Yep.
But, you know, I've been saying for months prior to MTE that this was the year of the lights, and it did prove to be year of the lights. You know, everyone seemed to come out with new lights. Not everyone, but, you know, Pro PDR Solutions has now taken a deep, in-depth look of their tool or their lights, you know, their chubbies and stuff like that. And they're not, I don't think they're redesigning them on the outside, but they're definitely doing things on the inside, and their production is now, you know, 2 to 3 days out when it used to be 2 to 3 weeks or sometimes even longer.
Yeah.
So count on those guys now. You know,
I like to talk about I got one, it's DNE, and Dent Tools USA is selling this light, and I got one, and it's my favorite light now. I love this thing. And what's great about it is it's got programmable buttons. The buttons are on the face. It's got an on and off switch, which I'm sorry, but all these lights don't put an on and off switch. It drives me nuts. Because I leave my stuff plugged in to reels, but I like an on and off switch. But having a program, so I have it programmed for different fades, and you just can switch back and forth really quickly, and it's really nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, you're the only one that has that, so take your word for it.
Yeah. But their stand is really nice, and their collar is really nice. I mean, they did a really good job on this light.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dent Tools USA carries it, huh?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a full review on it later, but that's one of the things that I saw. It was at the show and stuff, and guys have been asking me what big lights are you liking, and it's definitely one to consider up there. until the big boys get their prototypes all figured out and get their lights out there.
Vince, you sold a crap load of mats, didn't you, man? I mean, I've seen people like buying them things up like hotcakes, man. And that's just a testimony, though, of like when people get something, a great tool in their hand, it's like they can't resist. And I was watching that from the corner of my eye, you know.
Yeah.
And, tell us, like, what was the response you got from a lot of technicians?
Everyone that came up loved it. Not everyone bought it, but everyone loved it. And it was interesting because, I think people had to touch it and feel it because it doesn't represent itself well in pictures. You know what I mean? When it just look like a rubber mat with tools on it.
Right.
They don't realize the stickiness of that mat and the protectiveness of it. It's larger size. It's 17 by 21, and I think a lot of people in pictures thought it was smaller, or whatnot. But it was an overwhelming response. I was shocked, and my wife was like, "Wow, this is really cool." We left there energized and charged. I mean,
I don't know what guys do when they're doing hail, working on flat surfaces.
They put towels down, or they don't put anything down, and they just put it right on the car.
It just doesn't look. I mean,
yeah,
I'm all about always looking professional in every aspect. If just pretend the customer's always watching you.
Yeah,
and
I like that you can put it on the window, and it works just as well.
Sure, window.
Put it anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, what keeps it off the surface you're working? Because anytime you put something in front of you, it's on the surface you're working. You eventually got to move it, and it just gives you a chance to miss dents. Like a good hail technician is using a lot of elements around him to repair damage, and a really good hail technician can bring his head down at the lowest the light can possibly be, and just use a edge of a light to fix a dent.
Yep.
And if you got all this stuff in your way, you're not really taking advantage of that ability to do that,
Sure.
And so if you find places to store things and then keep them there, it makes me more efficient because I'm known for, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not the most organized at my shop, and I could literally walk around for like 15-20 minutes hunting for a tool. Yeah. And I come back and it was like laying somewhere like on my desk, like I walked and put it in my office, right?
Sure.
Now that I've been using Vince's mat, when I get set up for a job, I try to keep everything on that. So that way I don't walk off with it. I try to mentally.
And then you can grab it like a taco with all their tools on it and bring it over somewhere else.
Yeah.
I have it. The best thing I like is I have it on my workbench. And so I got a new workbench for next to the motorcycle stand and stuff. And that's what I set my Harleys on. So if I get a new tank, instead of sitting it down on the wood, then I'm sitting it down on that mat to protect the paint.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I love it.
Well, I really appreciate it, guys. It's been an overwhelming response at MTE, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed everyone that came up and talked about it. There was tons of guys that already had it that came up and bought a second one. I got international distribution. They're now in Europe. They're going to be at the Iskari show that's coming up, I believe. So our European listeners, if you're going to that show in Germany, I believe it's next week. Actually, this week when this podcast drops, you might be heading to that show. It'll be there. I picked up Australian distribution, and of course, Anson and Ultra carry it here as well, or you can get it directly at the spot at my website.
So where are they supposed to send our private jet at again? Did we talk to Freddie about this? I think it was.
Yeah, Freddie was supposed to send out a private jet, and it didn't happen. But he bought a whole ton of mats to take out there. So
there we go. That's good enough, right? Blue M&Ms. Pick all the other colors out. I cannot have any other colors.
Yeah, well, it was Van Halen. It was brown. They had to take brown out.
Was it Van Halen that ordered that?
Yeah,
I don't think I could ever be like that much of a dick. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think I could, man. I guess it'd be cool to say that, but then you'd be like, God, everybody thinks I'm a dick. They probably like wipe their nuts on his brown M&Ms after they're done picking them all out.
And you can
Here you go, Van Halen. Let me just rub them on my sweaty balls. I mean,
you can understand them saying just Budweiser. Right?
What's that?
Just them saying like, oh, we just want Budweiser on our tour, or we just want Jose Cuervo on our tour.
Yeah.
Take out the brown M&Ms. Come on.
Hey, and you guys, do you guys mess with people that handle your food? Like, I do not argue and be like, take my food back. This stuff sucks.
I've never done that.
because I can envision what happens when it gets back into that kitchen.
yeah.
And I always think of that movie, Waiting. You guys have seen that movie, Waiting, about the restaurant?
No.
Oh my God, go watch it tonight, dude. It's the funniest movie on planet Earth.
Okay.
They
WAD.
take back this food and they do this whole thing. They put parsley on it. It's the guy's pubic hairs and the other person. I mean, they just all the cooks go down the line.
You're grossing me out now. Yeah.
Oh man, it was
don't wanna hear that
so
kind of
bad.
stuff.
Wait, have you guys seen Eurotrip?
Yes.
Where that dude asked for them to fix his waffles, and that guy goes back and just throws them down the front of his pants, throws them down the back of his pants, licks them, licks the butter off of them, and then puts them on the plate and then puts syrup. Don't mess with people who prepare your food.
No.
Right.
It's like a cardinal rule, man. You know,
All right. So back to tools.
people enjoy my rants. They told me that. man.
No, I love them. So, you know what my favorite tool is
What?
that I got at MTE? This guy.
Yeah, I was
I
supposed to
think
get
the
one.
hole straightener.
The hole straightener from Kiko. This thing is freaking badass. I love this thing.
I swear to God, somebody gave me one of them, and I don't know where it's at.
Oh, give it to me because he only had 17 of them, and by the time I went back, he was out.
Oh, you
I
didn't
don't
get
have
this?
it.
I thought you got this. 'Cause
No,
I have one of these mini lifters for you.
Oh, let me guess. Daniel has 3 of them somehow.
yeah,
I use one for every hole.
I paid $85 for this thing. I had to buy it.
yeah. I'm buying mine.
You're not using that press pass like it's supposed to be used.
I know, but I'll tell you, this thing works really well, man. I got to tell you, it's quick and easy. You can just rotate around a hole really fast. You can see you just boom, 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 boom.
Oh
boom,
wow, I
and
like
you just
that.
rotate it.
So
And
they repurposed the mini lifter, the Robo lifter.
yeah, and I had one of the original aluminum Robo lifters, and they're too heavy, and they made them out of plastic because they're so heavy they just fall over on the car and they dent cars. So I
Yeah,
had 2 of these just laying around, not doing anything with them, and so it's perfect for this. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna order one. So go ahead and send me that mini lifter that you got.
I'll bring it down in a couple weeks.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, guys, it's worth it.
well, I know you talked about the Robo lifter, how it falls over,
Yeah.
but bottom line is, man, you still got to have one of them. That
Mhm.
thing, and the reason why is the feet twist around areas, and you can glue pull with that thing where you cannot get a traditional mini.
I think the Robo lifter is the best lifter by far.
It was the goofiest looking thing on planet Earth when I first seen it. And I was like, what is this goofy looking thing? And then you get a hold of one. It's the best damn tool you ever used,
I don't even use my other mini lifters anymore. They've been converted into edge jack tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Speaking of edge jack, I got the Ultra edge tool.
Yeah.
Now, you guys saw, what was it, a year ago or 2 years ago? Steve came out with this huge monstrosity of a edge tool. I think Daniel has one, and
Yeah.
it looks like something like when you break your leg, they put you in traction and put screws.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just freaking huge, and it's look cumbersome to me. That's why I never bought one. But the one that Steve came out with now, it has feet that slide side to side, and it's got a bigger window, so you could see every part of the repair when you're using this edge
Have
tool.
you used it yet?
I have, yeah. I've used it twice. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
You're
you
liking
can
it.
put any tip
Yeah.
you want on it, and you just screw it down. You screw it down, and you don't even need a mini lifter for it.
Speaking of Ultra, I do want to give you guys a shout out because I talked to Steve today, and they actually lowered the price like on that deal. They changed the flyer. They took it down to I think $24.95. And when I was talking to Steve, he's like, man, I just felt bad because I guess this time of year it's kind of expensive, to get a hotel. So he actually took $500 off of the package. So
Yeah,
and I do think that if 2 people are going, like, he'll work out something with you. Like if you have a company that wants to come, you talk to him and he'll even work out maybe even a little bit of a better deal for you. So get on that. I mean, people are calling him and he's getting things lined up. And if you guys didn't hear last show, Steve from Ultra is having an event. What is it, Daniel, at the end of this month?
Yeah, it's the 23rd 24th and 25th, I believe.
Yeah. So, and I know I want to explain this because I know everybody's going to want to know. We're talking about tools, but he's going to actually allow people to custom make tools while they're there. There's going to be education. There's going to be the shock box, whatever it is, power box. There's going to be and I'll tell you one thing, guys. Steve is one of the better people I've ever seen using that aluminum hot box thing.
Yeah.
Now, a friend of mine, he had a guy that was trying to teach him how to do it, and it wasn't Dwayne or anything like that, but it was one of our guys that was at the Mega Media event, Michael, and he said that he was up there showing the guy how to use it with all Steve's techniques that he showed him, about putting the tool behind it and coasting it at the same time and stuff like that.
Sure.
So Steve does a phenomenal job with that thing, and if you guys are out and about and you want to take a little trip, I guarantee you Steve will have a really nice.
Dude, we're gonna geek out on making tools, man. We're gonna have so much
Yep.
fun. You guys don't realize how cool his factory is. I mean, it's a candy store for dent guys.
And you guys get to check out them handles too that we were talking about. Actually, that's my favorite tool that I received at the show. So,
Well, here's too. Riverside is a quaint little college town, and there's actually a convention that weekend, and the hotel prices were kind of really high.
yeah.
That's why he dropped the price. That's one of the main reasons why he dropped the price, to make it more affordable and get more people out here. But if you're on the West Coast or anywhere near the West Coast, you really have no excuse to not jump in your car and come out. In Arizona, it's only a 5-hour drive from Phoenix.
What's the temperature out there this time of year where Steve's at?
About 80 degrees.
Oh, dude.
Dude, if you're living where you're at,
Yeah.
4 degrees, I would just go just for that.
It's a cool town. Riverside's a cool town. It's a good time. So regardless,
Yeah. And unfortunately, I can't go, but it happened again, man. You remember last year I had a student that scheduled a year ahead of time.
yeah,
Same deal. I got a guy coming in. He works on the Alaskan pipeline, and he took all his vacation last year. So he took vacation off, like literally. I'm not kidding. Like a year ahead of time, he scheduled his training with me and took vacation time. And there's just no way I could do that to somebody, man.
we'll forgive you this time.
Yeah, that's why I told Steve. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
We need to geared up for the Mega Media event in Texas, because that's going to be pretty badass.
Oh, I'm geared up for that. Them things are selling like hotcakes. So I want to thank all you guys out there who are jumping on board, man. We didn't expect for them to be going this quick. So we got, hopefully by the time you guys hear this podcast, we'll still have plenty of seats left. So
Yeah, and I talked to Craig. He's out there painting up the shop right now and getting it all pretty 2 months in advance.
Yep.
yeah, man.
The Mega Media event, and then right after it is the Bonanza, the second annual Bonanza. So that will
Oh,
be
really?
yeah.
What is this bonanza are you talking about?
The open house?
Oh, the open house. Okay. I thought you were talking about the TV
Well,
show. Like
no.
they were having like a bonanza holiday or something.
No,
Was it
that's what they called it last year.
They called it the bonanza. I like that, man.
It's the thing that me and Vince went to last year, and just, man, Anson just knows how to throw a party.
Yeah,
They take
all around.
care of
yeah.
everybody.
Burn ends again.
Coors Light, baby. Coors Light.
What about bacon burn ends?
I don't
What
want to hear
about it? What about it?
When you guys say bacon burn ends, is that really what they served, or is this the name of the restaurant that served the food?
No, it's
what they're serving. It's barbecue.
go
Okay.
go on YouTube and punch that in and see how it's made, and you'll see it. It's cubes of freaking bacon.
Well, you know that we're catering in for the Mega Media event that we're having out there at the same time. So,
I'm sure at one point there will be the barbecue guy. Because
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah, we're already on that, man. The girls are making plans. We got Mary and my wife on it. So between them two, they're doing all kinds of stuff, getting the hotel set, getting the food ready, keeping me and Mike, like the stuff me and Mike neglect, they do. So, which is awesome.
well, we touched on a lot today. I know there's a ton more. We could go on for hours and hours talking about it,
We
but
gotta save some for
Yeah.
later.
we got to save some for later. And plus, we are trialing. We're doing a lot of trial on the tools that we did get. So if we didn't get to you and talk about your tools, it's only because we want to
testing.
we want to show test it. We just don't want to throw out opinions on tools that we haven't tested. And that's why I think our audience appreciates us, is they're getting an honest view and an honest feedback as to what we're buying, what we're getting, and what we're telling you to get, and educated purchases.
That's
No.
true. That's true. And guys, if somebody wants to, if I remember correctly, if you guys want to get a ticket out there to Ultra's event, call in to Ultra Dent Tools, and I think Steve is signing you up personally. So call in, let them know. I don't think they have a link right now, but they're only taking 25 people. So I don't know. This may be sold out by the time this podcast drops.
Could be.
But if it's not, just call in and ask them and see if they got a spot available for you.
Yeah, 2 days ago when I talked to him, he had about I think 12 spots left.
Yeah.
So, get on it.
Get
So-
on it, man.
Any tech tips at all? Because I got one. Finally.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start it off.
Okay.
Okay, so in the realm of hot boxes and dent boxes and electromagnetic, heat transfer boxes, here's a tech tip for you guys that have them out there. Some of you guys that you gave up on them, you threw them in the back of your cart or in the back of your shop, and you just forgot about them because this doesn't work. Well, it's all about the combination repair. So what I've been doing lately and having tremendous success with is I glue pull the dent. As soon as I glue pull the dent, I grab the hot box. I heat up the area, and then I do my blending. Because what happens is, you're getting that strong pull and you're getting that peak out of the dent. And then the hot box, you're moving it around the outside of the peak of the dent that you just made, the huge high spot. And you're making, the sharp valleys, slow rolling hills. And then you blend it out. So pull, heat up, and then blend. And you'll have tremendous results, and it's a lot quicker than going back and forth with the hot box on its own.
Nice. Daniel, how about you?
You know what? I wrote down something, but I don't know what I was trying to write down. I'm like, it says wax hot box, and I don't know.
I know what that is. I know what that is. Okay, so this one comes from our buddy Ron Cornyn. And Ron Cornyn, he's kind of a master with the hot boxes too. And the trick is if you get spray wax or put wax on the panel and you start using the hot box, the wax
smoke.
is gonna start to smoke before you
With
start
the
burning.
paint. That's what it is. Yep.
That's
Okay.
what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good.
That's right.
Ron Cornyn is the very first person that taught me how to polish balls.
Oh, and what
He-
grade of sandpaper does he use on his balls?
Well, he actually did though. He when I first started with the blending balls for the tactical, I was using these ones that were pre-made, but they weren't perfectly round. So while he was with me and he came and trained with me for a week, we ordered some of the different aluminums and all that stuff, tapped them, and then put them on, sanded them, and he got the most perfect polish out of these things that you could possibly get. And then for a gift, he actually went over to the hardware store, and I had an old bench grinder, and he bought me all the polishing pads and the jeweler's rouge and the polish, and mounted it and everything like that, and put it on the thing, and you hit a button and it spins, and he actually taught me how to polish them out. And actually, when we had Wade up here for the Dents for Kids event, I showed him how to polish a ball, and Wade's like, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything like that!" Right?
That's awesome.
And
Can
it's
you use it on
unbelievable.
tips of your knockdowns? Can you use it the same way?
Yeah, you can polish anything with it. It's like it starts out with a harder pad, which is for the compound type of buff, and then there's a red block which is called jeweler's rouge, and you put that on the other side, which is more of a polishing pad.
Sure.
That jeweler's rouge, when you have what I do is I chuck them in a drill and I spin the drill at the same time that I'm polishing the balls. And that's why, like, if you looked at the gold ones that I have, they come out like shiny gold, like a necklace, because they're made of brass. But when they come in, they got a real hard nub on the end that needs to come off with like 200. And then they are just jacked. They're all got pits and all that stuff in them. They all got to be hand sanded out and polished.
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
awesome. Well, before we leave, I do want to give a shout out because I'm really impressed with the young guy out there, Hudson Tansey, with his R&I videos that he's been throwing up there. So thank you, Hudson, for doing that for our community and of dent removal technicians out there.
Where do we find if we're looking for his? Does he have a YouTube page or something?
Not yet, but I'm sure there.
I think he's put them in one of the other groups. Hudson, we need to bring you over to PDR Tool Time, man. Just leave them other groups, dude. They are like lovers that will cheat on you, man. And over at PDR Tool Time, we're like lovers that will love you forever.
Yeah.
Maybe we wooed him on that one, right? I don't know.
I don't even know if he listens. Yeah, he does. He tells
And Vince will send you like $100, dude. So just so I'm saying.
$100 every year. All right, guys. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Nah, man. I think I'm good.
Okay,
All right.
Daniel.
Level up your tools.
And if you guys are interested in everything we're talking about, you better join that revolution, because not only do we have tool reviews and Hudson's coming on board, and on top of that, we also have live podcast there. We actually had a live podcast there last week, got like 18,000 views or something like that. Maybe 1,800, but it was really, really good, right? Hundreds of comments, lots of interaction over there. We keep it live. There's
Just
tons of
having fun, man.
giveaways. We do it up in that group, guys. Between the Dent Trainer giveaways, between the tool reviews, between the interaction, it's really a positive group, but in a good way. Like, we really keep it live and fun in there. We got a couple people with sticks up their asses, but you have that everywhere. But that's okay, because we still love them too. We need people with sticks up their asses. And I just made them all mad again, man.
Yeah.
Hot darn it.
All right, guys.
All right,
Thanks for
for tuning
listening.
in.
Until next time.
All right, guys. We'll see you. Hey, everybody. John Hiley here. I hope you enjoyed this latest podcast. I just want to tell you guys that it is literally the day before this podcast drops. So I'm sitting here talking to you on Monday. I'm getting ready to upload this podcast. But while I was getting ready to upload the podcast, I noticed that we did not give you a place to go to sign up for the Mega Media event. So you want some more information about it, head on over to denttrainermedia.com. Again, that's denttrainermedia.com. And for you guys who do not know what that's about, maybe you're a first-time listener, or maybe you didn't catch it on our last podcast, this is the event that will literally change your company. We will not only give you the education, but we will give you the tools to rebrand your company with brand new, beautifully shot, fully edited photos. We're going to give you the ability to completely rebrand your company with videos. We're going to give you that same ability to completely change your marketing strategy and tap into lucrative high-end clients. Our system worked time and time again. It works every time that I have a student and I give them this system, and they pay a lot of money for it, okay? A lot. So you guys are going to be able to get in on this at a minimal investment, and you're going to get to hang out with us over at Anson PDR for 3 days, and our event is the 5th through the 7th. So what I want you guys to understand right here is that 10% of the PDR technicians, the upper 10%, make 90% of the income, okay? I know this for a fact. I talk to guys all over the country. I talk to guys all over the world, and it's the same thing over and over again. And I can always predict the ones that are making the most and doing the best, okay? I look at their image. I look at the way they put themselves out there into the market. I look at their strategies, okay? Anybody who is a top earner in this industry has a strategy. We've developed a strategy for you. We've developed a strategy that will put you above and beyond your competition and set you apart from the average dent company, okay? So you guys, I'm telling you right now, sometimes I hear this occasionally. Actually, a few people said that they didn't know if they could afford it. And what I'm going to tell you right now is that you cannot afford not to go, okay? Guys, we look forward to seeing you out there at the Mega Media event. There's very few seats left, so I don't even know if by the time you guys hear this, if there's going to be a seat available. If they are all gone, then the link will be dead. But you can check out denttrainermedia.com. Hey, guys, I really hope to see you out there.